Good evening. On the World News tonight from BGI TV, Baba Gbagede Imo Television. First, the headlines. Youth are key to your success. Group tells Tinubu. We will manage release of water from Lagdo Dam, FG. 2023 Kogi governorship election results will be transmitted from polling units, INEC. CBN's assistant governor, deputy dragged to court over alleged asset declaration. Report ranks Lagos as 5th best African city to live, work in. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. The news shortly. A coalition of youth groups have reiterated the need for President Bola Tinubu to carry youth along in the governance of the country. They especially urge the president to consider the national president of the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, AYCF, Alhaji Yerima Shitima, as one of his cabinet members. The youth group said the call became imperative considering the role Alhaji Shitima has played in stabilizing youth activities, promoting peace and social justice over the years, not only in the north, but in all the geopolitical zones of the country. Represented by Samuel Gary, Ahmed Mohamed Rufai, and Christiana Nicholas, under the umbrella of Nigeria Youth for Peace and Social Justice Forum, the groups further stressed that it is expedient to bring Shitima to the fore and expose his silent but noble attribute to the world, so that it would attract attention of the president, who had emphasized on competence and youth inclusiveness in his cabinet. Although we did not sought for Yerima Shitima's consent before clamoring for him to be appointed as minister in the president's cabinet to represent the youth, we felt it behoved on us to search for a youth leader with impeccable credentials and who enjoys a lot of goodwill from across the divide to be part of the incoming administration, they concluded. The federal government yesterday promised to manage the release of water from Lagdo Dam in Cameroon, saying the flood caused by the dam would be less severe than that of 2022, which was the worst flooding the country experienced in the last decade. The Minister of State for Environment, Ishaq Salako, who gave the promise yesterday, spoke on the day of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, asked Nigerians not to panic, assuring that everything was under control. Recall that the Cameroonian government had last weekend written NEMA informing it of plans to release water from the dam. The minister, who spoke in an interview, said the flooding was inevitable as a result of opening of the dam, adding that his ministry was working on preventive measures. He said the ministry had also been warning and alerting people residing close to the river Benue banks and appealing to them that they move to higher grounds. He said the ministry is aware, and I'm sure most Nigerians are aware, that Cameroon wants to open that dam. Thankfully, it's not a sudden opening because the management of the opening of that dam is going to cause less severe flooding. That is what we envisage compared to 2022. However, you know that there is been a lot of warnings, alerts and requests for people who are living on the banks of the river Benue to relocate to higher grounds. So we expect that some flooding will occur as a result of the opening of that dam, and it is inevitable because if the dam overflows on its own, the disaster that it will cause will be worse. So, Sadako said the Bola Tinubu administration hoped to hasten the process of completing the alternative dam in Adamawa State in order to hold water when the dam was opened in subsequent years. On the issue of long-term prevention of flooding from the opening of that dam, for some time now, there has been an approach by the government of Nigeria to build another dam in Adamawa State so that it can hold some of the water when the Cameroon dam is opened. So I think going forward, what will help us is if we are able to, of course, implement the dam that is planned to be built. I think the project is actually ongoing, but it's going to take a while. But hopefully under this administration, we can focus more on it, but that is really not under the purview of the Ministry of Environment, he said. Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has allayed fears of Nigerians over the release of the excess water from the Lagdo Dam, which is located on River Benue in the Republic of Cameroon. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says that the Kogi State November 11th governorship result will be transmitted electronically directly from polling units to its server. The resident electoral commissioner (REC) in Kogi, Professor Gabriel Longpet, disclosed this at a two-day media roundtable engagement on the Kogi election organized by the Independent Press Center (IPC) in Abuja. Professor Longpet said the electronic transmission of the result will help to eliminate rigging, electoral fraud, and other irregularities, and to ensure the enthronement of credibility and transparency in the electoral process. Longpet also assured that the issues of insecurity that characterized the 2019 governorship election have been critically analyzed and dealt with, urging Kogi electorates to come out and vote as election will be volatile-free. Of course, we'll be transmitting the Kogi election electronically. A lot of infractions do happen between the polling unit and the collation center. The transmission of the result through electronic method will definitely prevent such issue of infractions from occurring. By the Electoral Act, any result figures on Form EC8A that appeared mutilated cannot be allowed. If results are transmitted electronically to the IREF, there will be no need for results to be hijacked in the first place, mutilated, or changed. The state REC reiterated that the 2023 Kogi governorship poll will be by the poll and not by the gun, assuring that the commission will do everything to ensure that votes count and those who will emerge through popular votes. We have only one message, and the message is that you come out to exercise your franchise, he said. The Independent Press Center Executive Director, Mr. Larry Arogundade, said the 2 days media roundtable was part of conscious effort by the center to train media personnel as well as build strategic partnership and alliance amongst elections actors that would be enhanced to produce a better democratic setting in Kogi. Arogundade urged the journalists to give voices to a wide range of interests in the forthcoming November governorship election in the state. The program is being implemented by the International Press Center, Lagos lead implementing partner of Component 4 Support to Media of the European Union Support to Democratic Governance in Nigeria. Project 11, holding at Treasure Suite and Conference Abuja. The training is organized by the EU Support to Democratic Governance in Nigeria, Component 4 Support to Media. Arogundade said the media training is to critically examine the media to be able to interface rightly in reporting fair and balanced reportage of activities for the public to make informed journalists. Moving on to the next story. The acting governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Faola Shonobi, and Deputy Governor Edward Adamu has found themselves embroiled in a fresh legal dispute as the Network Against Corruption and Trafficking Foundation, NACAT, takes them to the Federal High Court in Abuja. The group accuses Shonobi, Adamu, and the chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau of failing to declare their asset to the Code of Conduct Bureau, CCB, a claim backed by Section 1(1) and (2) of the Freedom of Information FOI Act 2011. In a suit marked FHC/ABJ/CS/1182/2023, filed on August 25, 2023, NACAT alleges that Shonobi failed to disclose his interest in companies such as Intermex Limited, KFC Places Resources Limited, the Peckable Company Limited, Cooley Investment Limited, Iscopen Limited, and Kilmar Technologies Limited. Similarly, they claim that Adamu neglected to declare his interest in Pinnacle Solutions Network Limited, Elad Global Resources Limited, and Global World Frontier Services Nigeria Limited. The operational manager of NACAT, Stanley Ogagbe, asserts in an affidavit that the respondents have refused to provide them with the requested documents. Shonobi is listed as a director in the companies mentioned above, while Adamu is said to be a director in the companies he allegedly failed to declare. Ogagbe maintains that as public officers, Shonobi and Adamu have a statutory duty to declare their interest in these companies in their asset declaration forms while assuming the roles in the CBN. The applicant seeks the court's intervention to compel the respondent to fulfill their obligations and provide the necessary documents in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. NACAT had previously written letters requesting that the document, but the respondent allegedly refused to comply. NICAT identifies itself as a non-governmental organization and pro-democracy civil society group focused on combating corruption, financial crimes, terrorism, and economic sabotage. As of now, no hearing date has been scheduled for the suits. To the next story. A 2023 report by Brand Finance City has ranked Lagos as the 5th best African city with high desirability by people to live, work, and invest in. According to the report, Nigeria's commercial city polled 56.7% in a survey conducted behind Cape Town, South Africa, Cairo, Egypt, Johannesburg, South Africa, and Casablanca, Morocco, as the first 4 best African city with 62.9%, 59.7% and 59.3% respectively. Meanwhile, Cape Town, Cairo, Johannesburg, Casablanca, Lagos, and Nairobi are the only 6 African countries that appear on the 100 world's best cities as number 60, 67, 72, 76, 90, and 94 respectively on global rankings. On the global stage, London, England is reported to be the world's best city, brand in the ranking scoring 84.6%, while New York, the United States, and Paris, France come as second and third, garnering 83.0% and 79.7% respectively. The ranking is based on a global survey of close to 15,000 members of the public conducted in April 2023 in 20 countries on all continents to measure perceptions of the world's top 100 cities, the report reveals. Speaking in the survey, the chairman and CEO of Brand Finance, David I, said, London's exceptional performance in the index can be attributed to its global familiarity. Coming forth on this particular measure, London has a huge advantage over its peers, leading to its success in the ranking overall as the world's best city. Knowing a city allows the public to form positive perception about it, to recognize its reputations, and to consider it as a preferred place to live, work, study, retire, visit, and invest. High familiarity means a deeper understanding of its qualities and a broader reach of its appeals, allowing the city to draw the significant economic benefit from inbound immigration, investment, and tourism. Back to Nigeria. Speaker Mudashiru Obasa has rebuffed threats against him and the Lagos State House of Assembly over the rejection of 19 of the 39 nominees sent to it as commissioners by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, saying the governor is not superior to him in the realization of the Lagos project. He also rebuffed insinuations over misgiving of the rejection of some popular former commissioners, including Professor Akin Abayomi, saying that the work of the former health commissioner in curtailing the COVID-19 epidemic must not be divorced from the entire health infrastructure in Lagos, warning the traducers not to force him from spilling the beans on the rejected nominees. Speaker Obasa, who spoke during the session of the House on Monday, while referring to his political endurance in Lagos, said, warned, those who live in glass house should be cautious not to throw stones. Before today, I had been reliably informed of the plan to attack the Speaker based on the decision of the House concerning the nominees of the governor, particularly the rejected ones, Dr. Obasa said during plenary, adding that he had been inundated with calls from people and members of the House. The Speaker stressed that the House does not have any fight with Sanwo-Olu or the executive arm as projected by some people who may not be aware of the actual reasons for the rejection of the nominees. There is this erroneous belief that we are waging war against the governor. There is no basis for me and the House to fight the governor. I will continue to say that the governor is a brother and a colleague in the Lagos project and service to the people of our states. But I wonder why anytime the House says no to a particular request of governor, it is taken by some people to mean there is a fight with the governor. The House as a body has refrained itself from exposing what it discovered during the screening exercise, and we are not going to be forced to spill to the public. Dr. Obasa said in referring to the fact that Governor Sanwo-Olu was not superior to him or other members of the Lagos House concerning the rejection of Professor Akin Abayomi, former health commissioner. Obasa said considerations went beyond his effort in the fight against COVID-19, which he described as an isolated issue in the Dr. Jide Idris and others. COVID-19 was an isolated case that was considered. Before COVID-19, we had Ebola, which was also taken care of under Babatunde Fashola. Beyond all this, we are the representative of the people, their mouthpiece, eyes and ears. Before Engineer Aramide Adeyoye, we also had Engineer Ganil Johnson and Dr. Obafemi Amzat as Commissioner for Works, and under whom the Ikoyi Victoria Island Link Bridge was built, while Babatunde Fashola was governor. Under Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as governor, there was a massive infrastructural development too. So we must stop making allusions concerning something we do not understand. They mentioned the former Commissioner for Information, Gbenga Omotosho, and his experience, but how about actions in office or Basa Act? The Speaker added that he is a politician whose party is in power. The priority of those in government should be the interest of the people. He urged those planning to sponsor actions against the House to realize that protest and sponsored articles would not make the House rescind his decision. Moving on to the next story. Management of Dangote Cement PLC has clarified that the price of a bag of cement from its factories across Nigeria as of 28 August 2023 is 4,010 naira in Okwela and 4,640 in Ibeshe, Obajano and Boko. In a statement Monday, the company stated that, including transportation costs and the location of delivery, prices could range between 5,000 to 5,300 naira per bag. This clarification was made in the view of recent misinformation that the company sells cement in Nigeria at significantly higher prices relative to other countries, particularly the Republic of Benin and other neighboring countries. Dangote Cement Group Managing Director, Mr. Arvin Patek, advised that it is important to distinguish Dangote Cement ex-factory prices from prices at which retailers sell cement in the market. Our check in Cotonou, the commercial capital of Benin Republic, indicated that cement sells between CFA 3,495 and CFA 4,500, which are the current exchange rate of CFA 1,000 naira. 1,043 naira is between 4,997 naira to 6,435 naira per bag. Patek said that the Dangote Cement is focused on delivering quality cement at the best price possible, despite the current inflationary environment. We continue to innovate new ways to deliver quality products to millions of our customers across Africa while providing top-notch customer services. At Dangote Cement, we are committed to building an inclusive and sustainable business for all stakeholders across the value chain, he concluded. Moving on to the next story. Residents of Ewekoro in the Ewekoro local government area of Ogun State are facing a dire health crisis as they grapple for the hazardous effect of cement dust particles emitted by Lafarge Africa PLC, a prominent cement manufacturing company. Expressing grave concern over the deteriorating situation, the community residents have decried the lack of safety in their once thriving neighborhood. Information gathered that despite their persistent appeals to the company to take corrective measures, their pleas are falling on deaf ears of the company's management. A recent on-site investigation conducted by journalists and group of informants unveiled a distressing night site numerous homes enveloped in a layer of cement dust particles. More alarming, the source of carbon oxide emissions from the factory's machinery is located in close proximity to the community, mere meters away. The head of the community, Ayinde Akintokun, expressed frustration over the years of neglect by successive government administrations in the state. Akintokun painted a bleak picture, revealing that the elderly members of the community have tragically lost their lives due to inhalation of the cement dust particles. Cement dust is causing harm to our health in this community. Anytime the company starts its operation and production, everywhere becomes dusty and we won't be able to go out. Our elderly ones are dying from inhaling the dust particles, Akintokun lamented. Further information gathered that regrettably legal recourse has proven elusive for the community. Previous attempts to hold Lafarge Africa PLC accountable for environmental pollution through litigation were hampered by financial constraints. The community's desperate appeal to government bodies at all levels is a plea for salvation from the relentless onslaught of cement dust particles. Alawode Ajala, a resident of the community, underscored the gravity of the situation by pointing out that local businesses, including a bank and a police station, have been forced to relocate due to the health hazard posed by the dust particles. Mrs. Gbadebo, the Iyaloja of the community, echoed the concerns of a fellow resident regarding the health risk associated with cement dust particles. However, she acknowledged that the FAJ had initiated efforts to alleviate the issue by planning to relocate the community to a safer area. From that story, we'll go to the foreign story. At least 183 people have been killed since July in clashes in Ethiopia's Amhara region, the United Nations said Tuesday, as it appealed for the killings, violence, and rights abuse to end. Tension in the northern region ratcheted up this year after the end of a devastating war in the neighboring region of Tigray that also drew in fighters from Amhara. We are very concerned by the deteriorating human rights situation in some regions in Ethiopia, UN Human Rights Office spokeswoman Marta Otado told reporters in Geneva. In Amhara region, following a flare-up in clashes between the Ethiopian military and the regional Fano militia and the declaration of a state of emergency on August 4th, the situation worsened considerably. At least 183 people have been killed in clashes since July, according to information gathered by the UN Human Rights Office. Tensions in the northern region, which is this year after the end of the devastating war in neighboring Tigray, also drove fighters from Amhara. We have received report that more than 1,000 people have been arrested across Ethiopia under this law. Many of those detained were reported to be young people of the ethnic region origin suspected of being Fano supporters, she said. Since early August, mass house-to-house searches have reportedly been taking place. We call on the authorities to stop mass arrests, ensure that any deprivation of liberty is judicially reviewed, and release those arbitrarily detained. She added, we call on all actors to stop killings, other violations, and abuses. And finally, on sports. Bayern Leverkusen manager Xabi Alonso was full of praise for Victor Boniface after he opened his goal-scoring account for the club. The Nigerian netted twice in Bayern Leverkusen 3-0 win against Borussia Mönchengladbach in the rain derby last weekend. The 22-year-old scored the first and third goal for his new club. Boniface has now scored 2 goals and provided 1 assist in 2 appearances for Leverkusen. Alonso heaped plaudits on the striker for his remarkable display since his arrival at the club. Victor's is a real problem for opposition defenses. He's powerful, quick, and makes runs from deep. He has a good mentality and works for the team, not for himself, Alonso told Bundesliga.com. With the sports story, we've come to the end of today's World News from BGI TV. Before we go, some headlines. Youth are key to your success, group tells Tinubu. We will manage release of water from Lagdo Dam, FG. 2023 Kogi governorship election results will be transmitted from polling units. CBN acting governor, deputy dragged to court for alleged asset declaration. Report ranks Lagos as 5th best African city to live and work in. For more updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is Babagede Imo Television. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rebila Lawa. Good evening.